What is up, my brothers and sisters? The thing about the people who are always claiming it's weather geoengineering and they believe in the weather geoengineering, I don't deny that something is happening, because something is happening. And, it's clearly evident. It's funny because these people keep saying, oh, let's pretend that it's not happening. And they're trying to, I know what they're getting at. They're getting at that you can clearly see the evidence on the radar, right? And yeah, no, that's clear. No, that's definitely evident. Like, I'm not denying that there isn't something going on, because there's definitely something going on, right? Like, it's clearly evident and it shows on the radar. Like, I see the same thing that you're seeing too, right? Like I don't understand like what they're getting at, right? Like, they're like, did not deny that it's not happening, right? And it's like, no, it is happening. But it's not man causing it, though. That's the point. Like, that's what I'm getting at, right? And like, the thing that people are not acknowledging or fail to acknowledge is that every time events like this happen, something is happening with the sun. And if you keep up with the sun, you know damn well that the sun's been blowing up every day, and it's getting worse and worse and worse, right? And this affects our planet. Right. The reason why the sun is doing this is because there's a rogue dark planet, the one that I've been talking about, and it's orbiting our sun too. And every time it swings around the sun, it's causing these events to take place too. See, it's like a tugboat. OK, and the same effect takes effect on our planet Earth when it swings around our planet Earth. It's clearly evident. You can see it in the sky. People are catching it on live cams. I'm showing you what I'm showing you with the evidence that I'm filming, right? Because it's an infrared planet. You can't see it in the spectrum, in the human spectrum. So the only way you can really see it in the sky is when it's outgassing. And what outgassing is when it's flying by, its pieces and all this debris, and it's brought friends with it. So there's other solid planets as well. Like there's not just one. Okay. And you have a planet that's broken, right? And you have all this debris, and then you have other planets that are following it, right? And basically, when it outgasses, it looks just like clouds. It's clouds. Like, the outgassing is basically like, you could say like steam, or like when a comet is flying through the sky and it has a tail. Like, I try to show people like the example on like Armageddon, right? The movie Armageddon, when they keep showing like the giant comet that's like heading to Earth, right? And every time they show it, there's all like this dust and like this cloud that's just like dragging behind it, right? Well, people aren't seeing the rock itself or the planet itself. They're seeing all the dust and the debris, right? And it looks like clouds, right? From our perspective. So when it swings around the sun, it's got this electric, everything's electric, magnetic, and full of plasma, right? Like, there's cores, right? That's why we have a north and a south pole. That's why like magnets exist, right? Like there's a what magnets are. There's a positive and a negative. There's a north and a south, right? Like, this is like this is like fifth grade science, right? Like, it's very evident. Okay. But like, what these people aren't acknowledging, right? Because every time like something like this happens, like, they're looking at the radar and they're like, it's man causing it. And it's like, yeah, but you're not acknowledging that something is happening to the sun at the same time. So let me get this straight. You don't know that what's happening on the sun affects our planet too. That's why they call it space weather. Have you ever heard of the Carrington event? Like, I hope people are familiar with this, right? Like, I'm sure you've heard the term the Carrington event, right? Like, like, this should be like common sense, right? But people just don't want to acknowledge it. And when they know that they're wrong, it's the weirdest thing. Like, they just don't want to admit that they're wrong, right? Like, we have to acknowledge that this does play a factor and this does take effect. You think the dinosaurs were causing weather geoengineering when they were walking around? You think that the dinosaurs were starting their own weather and causing their, and I've got enough fossils, right, Like, you can go through my videos and I've got fossils of body parts, dude, of body parts. They're rocks, right? It's a rock and it's somebody's foot, right? Like, I'm showing you this evidence, right? Like, I have freaking rocks. I have a heart, that's a rock. I have a foot, that's a rock. I have a hand, that's a rock. And you have to acknowledge, what happened to these people? You know, and if they were way more technological than us, right? There's freaking dinosaurs under the ground, right? Like, people can't acknowledge that Earth has disasters and they were not caused by the dinosaurs, right? They didn't control the volcanoes or the weather, right? There's freaking dinosaurs that are frozen. Have you ever heard of Ötzi? Yeah, he's like a 10,000-year-old man. They found frozen in the ice, and it looked like he died a week ago, right? Like, this dude had been there and people were just walking right over him, right? And then finally, like, the ice melted a little bit, and his freaking body was sticking out the ground. His name's Ötzi. Look him up. It's O-T-Z-I, Ötzi. Check it out. All you got to do is a little bit of research, and you got to ask yourself, like, what happened to these people? You think they weather geoengineered themselves, right? Like, you think they froze themselves? You think they got stuck in the ground because they were controlling the sun and the weather, right? Like, if these people couldn't make it, right? Like, you would think by now we figured it out, but these highly technological people from our past couldn't figure it out. So what makes you think that we're going to be able to dodge this stuff, right? Only a select few will make it. You know what I mean? Like, we have to acknowledge that. You know, and these people that are talking about weather, like, you don't know what you're talking about, dude. Like, were you there when that stuff happened? How do you know what it looked like? Can you explain what any of that looked like? Can you explain why it happened? And do you have evidence? Because I do. I've got freaking rocks, dude, that are feet, hands, hearts, body parts, right? And they're freaking rocks, dude. Like, come on.